observer encounters a vehicle displaying a license plate that is clearly not a standard government-issued registration plate. It appears to be homemade, customized, or otherwise unofficial, prompting the question, is this a "I dare you to make me pay license fees" protest? What is the actual significance and ideological basis behind such a non-compliant and unusual license plate? This type of non-standard, often self-created license plate is identified as sovereign citizen stuff, indicative of adherence to the sovereign citizen movement. This movement encompasses a loose network of individuals and groups who subscribe to a complex and often contradictory pseudo-legal ideology. Adherents generally believe that they are sovereign individuals, answerable only to their particular interpretation of common law or a highly selective reading of constitutional law, and are therefore not subject to the statutes, regulations, or legal proceedings of federal, state, or local governments, which they often deem illegitimate. As a manifestation of this belief system, they frequently reject civic obligations such as paying taxes, registering their vehicles, or possessing official driver's licenses. Consequently, they may create and display their own sovereign license plates, identification documents, passports, and other pseudo-official paperwork to assert their perceived independence from and non-recognition of established governmental authority. This is indeed a form of protest against legal and financial obligations that they fundamentally reject as being applicable to them. An oxycodone prescription pill bottle was discovered discarded in a wooded area. Intriguingly, upon closer inspection, the bottle was found to contain not pills, but rather some small electronic components. Given the nature of the bottle, a common container for controlled substances, and the clandestine discovery location, what are these electronics likely to be, and why would they be concealed in such a manner? The electronic components found inside the oxycodone prescription bottle are identified as looking very much like the stripped down or disassembled parts of a small, portable digital scale. Individuals who illicitly use or distribute controlled substances, including prescription drugs like oxycodone when diverted for non-medical use, often require compact and accurate digital scales. These scales are used to weigh precise quantities of these substances, either for personal dosage management or for dividing them for sale. To make these scales more discreet for carrying, to avoid detection by law enforcement if searched, or perhaps to salvage working parts from a damaged or easily identifiable unit, the internal electronic components, which typically include a main circuit board, a sensitive load cell sensor, an LCD display, and battery contacts, might be removed from their original plastic casing. The empty and relatively innocuous pill bottle then serves as a convenient and inconspicuous container for these sensitive and incriminating components. Located on the bank of the South Fork Peachtree Creek in Atlanta, Georgia, within an area known as Zonalite Park, which has a history as a former Superfund site due to industrial contamination, is this strange, vivid, green, glass-like mass. It appears as though it was once contained within a metal barrel, which has subsequently rusted and corroded away, leaving the green substance exposed to the elements. What is this distinctive green, possibly hazardous material? A mining engineer identifies this striking green glass-like mass as malachite, which is a secondary copper carbonate hydroxide mineral with the chemical formula Cu2CO3, OH2. Malachite typically forms as a result of the weathering and oxidation of primary copper ore deposits or through the precipitation of copper from copper-rich solutions such as acidic mine drainage, a process that could be highly relevant given the location's history as a Superfund site, often associated with past industrial pollution or mining activities. Malachite is well known for its characteristic vibrant green color and can exhibit a range of lusters from vitreous, glassy, to silky or dull. Significantly, in addition to being a semi-precious gemstone, malachite has also been historically used as a pigment and, importantly, as a fungicide due to the biocidal properties of copper compounds. Its presence within the remnants of a rusted barrel suggests it might have been stored or used in this form for such applications, perhaps related to local agriculture, timber treatment, or even aquaculture in the past. As a copper compound, it is indeed unsafe if ingested and should be handled with caution. An uncle of the finder discovered this bottle in a cave in Okinawa, Japan, sometime between 1966 and 1967. He holds the strong belief that it originates from the World War II era. The bottle features a rubber seal at its top, and he recalls that the liquid contained within was originally clear, though it may have discolored or degraded over time. There are no discernible markings or labels on the bottle itself to aid in its identification. What is this potentially dangerous wartime relic from a Pacific Island cave? This bottle is identified with a high degree of certainty as a Japanese gas grenade dating from World War II. During the fierce and protracted fighting in the Pacific Theater, including the extremely bloody Battle of Okinawa, Japanese Imperial forces employed various types of chemical warfare agents. These were sometimes delivered via grenades or other frangible containers, designed to disperse the chemical agent upon impact or via a small bursting charge. The chemical agents could range from irritants like tear gas, lacrimators, to more lethal, poisonous gases. These agents were often housed in glass or ceramic bottles or containers, sealed with rubber stoppers or other breakable seals. Such items are extraordinarily dangerous, as the chemical agents can remain potent and hazardous for many decades, even if the container appears intact. If found, they should never be handled or disturbed in any way, and their discovery must be reported immediately to the appropriate authorities, such as the police or a specialized bomb disposal unit, EOD, for safe assessment and professional disposal. The emphatic warning, "Be very careful," is absolutely paramount. An individual is experiencing a perplexing and rather disgusting issue. Tiny specks keep reappearing on their bed. Each time these specks are diligently dusted off, they inexplicably reappear within approximately 2 hours, almost as if they are spawning from an unknown source. This recurring phenomenon is understandably causing considerable distress and revulsion. What are these constantly reappearing little specks that seem to materialize out of nowhere? These little specks are highly likely to be termite frass, which is the polite and technical term for termite droppings or excrement. Specifically, this description is characteristic of drywood termites, a type of termite that lives and feeds within dry soundwood, unlike subterranean termites that require contact with soil. As drywood termites excavate their extensive galleries and consume the wood, they periodically expel their fecal pellets from their nests through small kick-out holes that they create in the surface of the infested wood. Drywood termite frass often looks like tiny, hard, granular pellets, which can vary in color depending on the type of wood being consumed, ranging from light tan to dark brown or reddish, but frequently resemble fine sawdust, sand, or pepper. If there is an active drywood termite infestation in the wooden ceiling beams, ceiling joists, or even within the wooden components of the bed frame itself, directly above the bed, their frass would continuously fall and accumulate on the bed surface below. This is a clear and unmistakable indication of an active termite infestation that requires prompt professional pest control attention to prevent further damage to the structure. This old ruler presents a bit of a puzzle. Its specific method of operation and what exactly it is designed to measure or calculate are unknown to its current owner. It is characterized by multiple intricate, precisely engraved scales and a distinctive sliding component that moves longitudinally along its length, interacting with the fixed scales. What is this fascinating pre-electronic mechanical measuring and calculating device? This old ruler is definitively identified as a slide rule, a mechanical analog computing device that was an absolutely indispensable tool for scientists, engineers, mathematicians, navigators, and students for many centuries before the widespread availability and affordability of electronic pocket calculators in the 1970s. Slide rules are not primarily designed for measuring length in the conventional way a standard ruler is, but rather for performing a remarkably wide variety of mathematical calculations with considerable speed and reasonable accuracy. They operate based on the mathematical principles of logarithms, which effectively convert multiplication and division problems into addition and subtraction of lengths on a logarithmic scale. By carefully aligning different logarithmic scales engraved on the fixed body of the rule and its sliding central strip, the slide, and often using a movable cursor or runner with a hairline, users can quickly perform operations such as multiplication, division, and more complex functions, including finding square and cube roots, powers, logarithms, trigonometric functions, seen cosine, tangent, and exponential functions. The famous and oft-repeated assertion, "These put humans on the moon," vividly highlights the critical and fundamental role that slide rules played in the complex engineering and navigational calculations required for monumental achievements like the Apollo space program and countless other scientific and technological advancements of the pre-digital age. An unusual and somewhat perplexing sight is encountered in what appears to be the meat section of a Chinese or possibly another Asian supermarket. A simple bowl filled with Coca-Cola, placed in proximity to raw meat products. This peculiar presentation immediately prompts the question, why would Coca-Cola, a popular carbonated beverage, be displayed in this specific manner alongside uncooked meat? The most plausible and widely accepted explanation for Coca-Cola being presented in a bowl next to meat in a supermarket setting is its intended use as a key ingredient in a meat marinade. Coca-Cola, perhaps surprisingly to some, is a relatively popular component in various marinades and braising liquids across several distinct culinary traditions. It features in some Chinese recipes, like Coca-Cola chicken wings, other Asian cuisines, for example, as an element in some versions of Korean bulgogi marinades, and notably in southern US barbecue, where it's used in sauces and marinades for pork or chicken. The mild acidity of the soda, primarily from phosphoric acid, can contribute to tenderizing the meat by breaking down some of its proteins. Furthermore, the significant sugar content in Coca-Cola can aid in the development of a rich, caramelized crust and impart a subtly sweet and complex flavor to the meat when it is grilled, roasted, or braised. The supermarket in question might be proactively offering the Coca-Cola as a convenient pairing suggestion for certain cuts of meat, and the bowl could even be intended as a small, perhaps disposable, marinating dish provided for customer convenience, thereby implying a ready-to-marinate or recipe suggestion concept. Discovered washed up on a remote beach in Scotland, this small, sealed glass vial contains an orange-colored liquid. The finder is, quite understandably, curious about its potentially hazardous contents and is wisely questioning whether the natural urge to crack it open and investigate further should be resisted. Given its unusual nature, sealed state, and marine discovery context, what could this enigmatic vial be? This sealed glass vial, with its orange liquid, bears an astonishing and deeply alarming resemblance to a British chemical delay fuse, specifically the type employed in clandestine espionage limpet mines during World War II. Limpet mines were powerful explosive devices designed to be covertly attached, often magnetically, to the hulls of enemy ships below the waterline by saboteurs or special forces. These highly sensitive chemical delay fuses typically contained a very corrosive chemical agent, such as cupric chloride solution, which could appear as an orange, blue, or greenish liquid, or even as crystals upon evaporation, sealed within a fragile glass ampule. When the ampule was deliberately crushed, often by a spring-loaded mechanism within the fuse housing activated upon deployment, the corrosive chemical would be released and begin to slowly eat its way through a thin metal wire or restraining disc. Once this wire or disc was completely severed by the corrosive action, it would release a spring-loaded striker. This striker would then impact a percussion cap, which in turn would initiate the detonation of the mine's main explosive charge after a precisely calculated delay, allowing the operative to escape. Such items are extraordinarily dangerous. The chemical itself can be highly corrosive and harmful upon contact, and the fuse mechanism, even after decades of immersion in seawater, might still be sensitive or contain residual explosive components. It absolutely should not be opened or tampered with in any way, and its discovery must be reported immediately to the local police or a specialized bomb disposal (EOD) unit for safe and professional handling. After a routine oil change service on her car, a girlfriend of the Inquirer discovered this unexpected and unidentified part loose within her vehicle's glove box. Its origin and purpose are unknown to her, but its presence immediately following a vehicle service strongly suggests it might be an automotive component that was inadvertently not reinstalled correctly by the mechanic. What is this particular part, and what is its function? This automotive component is identified as a Glovebox damper. A Glovebox damper is a small, often plastic-bodied, hydraulic or spring-loaded mechanical device that is typically attached to both the glovebox door and the vehicle's dashboard or the glovebox housing structure. Its specific and rather refined function is to control the speed and smoothness with which the glovebox door opens. Instead of the door simply falling open abruptly and potentially noisily under the force of gravity when it is unlatched, the damper provides a carefully calibrated resistance. This allows the glovebox door to glide open gently, in a more controlled and deliberate manner, adding a touch of refinement to the vehicle's interior features. During certain vehicle maintenance procedures, such as replacing the cabin air filter, which in many cars is located behind or in close proximity to the glovebox assembly, mechanics often need to detach or completely remove the glovebox to gain access. It seems highly probable that in this particular instance, the damper was either not reinstalled at all or was not reinstalled properly after the oil change service, which might have included a cabin filter check or replacement, was completed. Discovered unexpectedly in a washing machine after a laundry cycle, this small pink object has a design or impression on it that resembles a face. It is noted that the object doesn't seem to dissolve in water and has no discernible odor. Its appearance, resilience to water, and the face design suggest it might be a lost component from a toy or a craft item, especially if children are present in the household. What could this be? This small pink object, particularly given its description as having a face-like design and being found in a washing machine, is very likely the rubber die or the actual stamping surface from an inexpensive children's toy stamp. These types of stamps are commonly found at the end of children's markers as part of larger arts and crafts sets or sold as small, individual novelty items, often featuring cartoon characters, animals, or simple facial expressions. The image-making part of these stamps is typically a small piece of molded rubber or a similar polymer, which is then glued or fitted onto a plastic or wooden base or handle. These small rubber pieces can, unfortunately, become detached from their base with enthusiastic use if the adhesive fails or if the toy is old or of lower quality. Being small, relatively durable, and non-dissolving in water, such a piece could easily end up overlooked in a pocket, fall out during play, and subsequently go through a full laundry cycle unnoticed until it is found in the washing machine or a lint trap. This solid white block, which is equipped with a convenient handle for carrying, is described as being very dirty and was discovered abandoned at the edge of a parking lot. Its robust and substantial nature, combined with the presence of a handle, suggests it is a portable yet heavy-duty piece of industrial or construction equipment. What is this large, solid white block? This solid white block is identified as a crane stabilizer pad, also commonly referred to as an outrigger pad or a jack pad. It is highly probable that it is made from UHMW, ultra-high molecular weight, polyethylene, a type of very dense and durable thermoplastic. Large mobile cranes, aerial work platforms, cherry pickers, concrete pump trucks, and other types of heavy lifting and construction equipment utilize extendable support legs called outriggers to provide a wide, stable base during operation, which prevents them from tipping over under heavy loads. These stabilizer pads are specifically designed to be placed directly underneath the feet of these outriggers. Their primary purpose is to distribute the immense downward force and pressure exerted by the outrigger over a significantly larger surface area. This crucial action prevents the outrigger foot from sinking into soft or unstable ground, cracking or damaging pavement and concrete surfaces, or becoming unstable on uneven terrain. UHMW polyethylene is a preferred material for these demanding applications due to its exceptional strength, high impact resistance, outstanding durability, relatively light weight compared to traditional materials like steel or thick wood, and its inherent resistance to moisture, chemicals, and abrasion. The integrated handle facilitates easier carrying, positioning, and retrieval of the often heavy pad. Discovered in the kitchen of an Airbnb property that was being cleaned after previous guests, this bag contains a substance described as being somewhat wet or oily to the touch. More notably, it emits a very strong and distinctive aroma, which is somewhat reminiscent of menthol or camphor. The unusual texture and potent scent suggest it's a specific type of consumable or aromatic product. What is this fragrant, oily substance? This substance is identified as flavored betel nut shavings. Betel nut, also known as areca nut, is the seed of the areca palm, Areca catechu. It is a widely consumed psychoactive substance in many parts of South Asia, Southeast Asia, and Oceania. The nut is typically chewed, often after being wrapped in a fresh betel leaf from the Piper betel vine, along with a small amount of slaked lime, calcium hydroxide, which aids in the release of the active alkaloids. Sometimes, tobacco or a variety of spices and flavorings are also added to the quid. This practice, known as betel quid chewing, is used as a mild stimulant, a digestive aid, and a traditional mouth freshener. The product found in the Airbnb would be pre-shredded or thinly shaved betel nut, often mixed with various flavorings such as cardamom, clove, mint, camphor, or menthol-like compounds to enhance its taste, aroma, and overall sensory experience. The oily or wet texture could be due to the natural oils present in the nut itself, or from the added liquid flavoring ingredients. Found on the approach road leading into an airport, this object is described as being approximately 3 feet in length, constructed of solid metal and appearing to be very heavy. It features 2 obvious-looking handles on its top surface and a kickstand-like support that seems to be fixed to its body with a hinge mechanism. Its overall robust shape and metallic construction remind the finder of some sort of cannon or artillery piece. What is this heavy, handled metal object? The solution provided in the snippet simply states, "You smoking pen solved." This indicates that the Reddit user named Smoking Pen successfully identified the object in the original online discussion thread. Unfortunately, the actual identification of this cannon-like object is not included within this particular text extract. Given the rather general description, heavy solid metal, approximately 3 feet long, equipped with 2 handles and a hinged kickstand, and its unusual discovery location near an airport, the object could potentially be a number of things. It might be a piece of specialized ground support equipment used for aircraft maintenance or cargo handling, a component from a heavy-duty industrial tool like a hydraulic ram or a specialized jack, or perhaps even a piece of decommissioned military ordnance, a historical replica artillery piece, if the airport has historical connections, or a very robust security bollard component. Without the original solution provided by Smoking Pen, its precise nature remains speculative, based solely on the available description. An image, which is not provided in this text snippet but would have been part of the original Reddit post, apparently shows a fish that has some form of strange writing or marking on its body. The question posed is, what is this marking or attached item on the fish, and what is its purpose? The solution provided indicates, looks like it may be this, but a different manufacturer. The implied "this" from the original context, likely a link to an image or description of a typical fish tag, suggests that the strange writing is, in fact, part of a fish identification tag. Fisheries scientists, marine biologists, and government resource management agencies routinely tag fish as an integral part of various research and monitoring programs. These programs aim to study critical aspects of fish populations, such as their migration patterns and routes, growth rates over time, population dynamics, abundance and mortality rates, habitat utilization, and the effectiveness of conservation efforts or fisheries management regulations. These tags can come in numerous forms, including small plastic or metal dart tags, anchor tags that are inserted into the fish's musculature, jaw tags, or even electronic tags. They usually bear a unique alphanumeric identification number and often include contact information, such as a phone number, email address, or website, for anglers or other individuals who recapture the tagged fish to report their finding. This reported data provides invaluable information for the ongoing research project. If you love uncovering strange and mysterious objects, hit that like button and subscribe. Stay curious. More finds coming soon.